to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Ready?
Well, I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a smell strip show, dance show.
We're there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Live.
Well,
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, This Week in Pickles, I'll bring that one back for you. Renters versus homeowners, the COVID-19 version. And if streaming services were smart, they'd do this. And what have we learned so far as us being at home and being captured inside of our house? All this and much, much more will be discussed here on Deacon Live. How are you? How are things? How are things going? I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're getting along. Everyone's getting along. And, you know, I'd like to do this because I think we need it. I think we really need to just take that moment and take a deep breath. Hands above our heads and stretch. Oh, my God. Whew. What a week. What a day. What day is it? I don't even know what day it is. I've been sitting at the house for many, many days now, many weeks now. And, you know, I do this on a regular basis. I do the podcast and I take care of the ranch here. And we've got a 20-some-odd acre farm, and I take care of the horses, I take care of the property and stuff. So I'm here. This is my world. You know, within these fences and in these walls, within these studios, this is my world. And my wife, it's funny because my wife is now, she's quarantined at home. She has a fortunate enough job to where she can work from home. Now, granted, she's still working, 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. She does phone calls. She's, typing in emails and all that stuff. So she's doing all that from home, and she hasn't left the house. Literally, now, we thought about it today. We were like going, she hasn't left the house in 3 weeks. Well, why hasn't she left the house in 3 weeks, Deacon? Well, because most of the time, I say most of the time, all the time, I go out and I run and I get supplies. Like I'm on a battlefield or something. I run and I go to Walmart and I grab the supplies that we need here for the house. Or I run to the feed store to get food for the horses and the chickens and the cattle and the bear and the deer. Oh my. And, I come back home and do all that stuff. And I, boil my hands when I get home and boil my face, because you always touch your face, touch your hands, touch your eyes, touch everything. You just can't, they say don't, it's don't touch that red button. And you look at that red button, you're like going, well, what happens if I touch the red button? Well, if you touch the red button, everything will cease to exist. Will it? I don't know. Let's touch the red button. Don't know. We were told not to touch the red button. Now you want to touch the red button. It's kind of like when they say don't touch your face. Don't touch my face. Well, I have to. I have it, it itches and scratches and twitches and all the stuff that goes on with your face. So you don't want to touch your face. So we left the house today, my wife and I. And the reason why we left the house is because if you listen to a few podcasts ago, I did some kind of engineering on a lawnmower that we had here. And it just didn't hold up. I tried to get through the season. I tried to get through this summer, the spring and summer. Summer set a little bit earlier, or spring set a little bit earlier here across the world. Not just here in my little four corners. But the lawnmower just couldn't hold up with the grass cutting and stuff. And so it broke down. And I say it broke down, the blade, the deck, the mowing deck, the stamped out mowing deck. I know now it's a stamped out mowing deck rather than a welded mowing deck. Just couldn't handle it and took a dump. So made some calls, did some research, did all the stuff, figured out what our budget was. So today was the day that we actually went down to the local mower shop. And when I say mower shop, here in the country, it's not a mower shop. It is a tractor international harvester / mowing, it's all these different items and stuff that you buy. It's not like walking to Home Depot and just going, I need that push mower or I need that little riding lawnmower, the one with the steering wheel in the front. No, I mean, here in the Carolinas, you need to have something big. You need to have something that's got like a 48-inch cut, a 52-inch, kind of like the commercial stuff. the commercial lawnmowers that people have cutting lawns on a regular basis. Well, you need one here on the franch. You need it, because if you don't, man, that grass grows quick, and it's not that thick St. Augustine. It's weeds and seeds and all the stuff with all the hay and stuff could go. So my wife, we took a trip outside of the house, and we realized she was freaking out. She's like, "I'm wearing a mask. I'm wearing a mask." What do you mean you're wearing a mask? I'm wearing a mask. Because, such and such and such and such told me that such and such and such and such knows someone that heard about someone that got the coronavirus. Okay, are they in your building? Nope. They just heard that they had it, and I don't want to get it. I'm like, babe, I have gone out numerous times within the last 4 to 5 weeks during this whole pandemic that's been going on. I said, I'm fine. Now, granted, like I said, I always take precautions. I when I come in the house, the first thing I do is wash my hands. First thing I do is, kind of wipe myself down with. My wife hoses me in the yard. No, she doesn't do that. But, for the most part, I'm very, very careful. If you breathe it in, okay, you breathe it in. That's another circumstance in itself. But everyone keeps their distance. Everyone washes their hands and does all that stuff. She's like, I don't care. I'm wearing gloves and I'm wearing a mask. I said, okay, I'm not wearing gloves. I'm not putting on latex gloves and walking around. Because what's the first thing you do? You got latex gloves on, you touch everything, and then your phone goes off. Then what happens there? You reach down in your pocket, grab your phone with your corona-infested fingers, corona-infested glove fingers, and you put that phone where? Right up to your fucking ear, and you're like going, oh, hello, how are things? I'm great, how are you? I'm doing well, blah, 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 blah. And then you swipe your phone with the other hand that's got corona juice on it. You swipe your phone, and then you stick it in your pocket, and then you go, I'm protected because I've got gloves, cha-cha-cha. No, it doesn't work that way. So I said, babe, I'm not putting gloves on. I just have to be mindful that I'm not going to touch my face. Now, we stopped at a couple places. We stopped at the feed store. She hasn't been out of the house in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It's kind of like the guy from, what was the Better Call Saul with the, he's worried about the electrostatic stuff. He doesn't come out of the house. Not that my wife was afraid about it, but she didn't have any reason to leave the house other than, ride the horses down on the property and stuff, but never going out to a store. So here we go. We were leaving, and I'm like, babe, I'm not putting gloves on. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be safe. She's like, well, I'm going to put my mask on. I'm like, babe, we have no mask here other than the one. Actually, if you're watching this on the video here, I still have my, I put this around my neck just to make her feel a little safer. And it's the one mask that I had. I got it up on my face right here. And I'm a good-looking guy with it on. I look kind of cool. I'm a kind of bad boy look. So if you're watching this on the video feed of Deacon Live. And the way you can find all this stuff is go to profitradio.com and click on Deacon Live. And you can see all the videos and all the articles and stuff that we have in real time as we're talking about this. So, put this down. So I put it on just to give her peace of mind. And so where's that blue bandana you had? Well, the blue bandana that is in a lot of my promo shots, I'm like, yeah, it's in the drawer over there. She's like, oh, you haven't washed it? I'm like, babe, I haven't worn it in so many years. I'm sure when I washed it, it went in the drawer. It didn't stick around or anything. So she finds it, she refolds it, and she's watching the video on how to fold it and all the stuff like we talked on the last podcast. And then she gets her little rubber band hair ties, and then she puts it up to her face, puts it around her ears. She's good to go. She's like, how do I look? I go, completely insane. But if that makes you feel better, that's fine. We'll do it. So we headed down to the lawnmower shop, sat there, and, I already talked to the guys, all the salespeople before. And granted, I'm going to give them a little plug. Whitley's Power Equipment, located off 601 South here in just outside the Queen City studio, actually over in Pageland. They treated me well. They treated me nice. They treated us great. And so, hold on a sec. They hooked us up there. The service department was great. The salespeople were great. No pressure, no anything. I knew what I wanted. but I didn't know what I wanted. So walked in there and I said, look, I found this online and this is the price for whatever online. They're like going, oh, you want to buy that? And I said, yeah. And then they're going, that's great. That's a great mower. But let me tell you the difference between this one and that one. And, for another $1,000, you can get twice the mower with twice the warranty and twice all the stuff. And it'll, you'll be more happy with it. So great. Went down there today with my wife. And she wanted to get out of the house and of course, go do a little bit of grocery shopping. And we'll get into that here just in a little bit. And bought the mower, and threw it in the back of the trailer, and then came home. And so I haven't had a chance. I literally just got home probably an hour ago. She was down there. Actually, I dropped her off. Went to go get the mower, came back. So she's been down there riding on she had a lesson, so she had to get out there and ride the horse with her trainer and stuff. And I just got up here to the studio and to do the podcast because I had to get this out. Because a lot of things have happened for me personally in the last 48 hours. And I don't want to dive into it right now. Some real good close friends of mine, some friends of the show know exactly what I'm going through right now. We've lost someone here on DeaconLive, and he's been a part of the show, a staple of the show for many years, and other broadcasts that I've been on, and I'll dive into that here a little bit later. So stick around. When we come back, we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the show. So you're listening to DeaconLive right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to DeaconLive. Give us a call anytime at 407-448-8800. Text us live at any time in the Queen City studio, located just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in a beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and do all the stuff that we do socially. And the way you do that is go to prophetradio.com, click on DeaconLive, and you can find all our contacts there as well. This segment of the show is brought to you by a great band by the name of Mikey Hamptons and the Meows. During the next break, we're going to play their new song called Dreamwave. So stick around for that. That's an awesome song. I like it. I was listening to it. It's kind of hip. It's kind of fun. It's a fun song, and we need fun right now. Here being, everyone's captive inside for the most part, but, so that's... Mikey Hamptons and the Meows, and they got a new album out called "Okay, I'm Ready to Rock Now." So we'll be playing their newest hit here just in a few minutes. So we got the lawnmower. Came home. My wife hasn't stepped outside the house in the first time in 3 weeks. She stepped out today actually, and we were a little late doing the podcast, and I apologize. Like I said, we had some things that popped up here personally that popped up, and. I'm not going to dive into it in this show, but what we're going to do is we're going to do a special, not an encore, a special broadcast on that as well. So stick around. You're going to want to hear it. It's a tribute, and it is a tribute because the person that passed away was a great guy. He was a big part of us, me personally, and the show as well. So we'll dive into that here in a few minutes. Now, listen. Are you listening to me? If you listen, speaking of listening to me, can you hear me? Can you hear my whiskers on the microphone? We talked about deep listening a few podcasts back. If you don't know what deep listening is, it's basically just putting on your headphones and just zoning out because everyone's trapped in their house, trapped in their whatever location that they're at, and it's putting on music that music that you like and just listening to all the sounds and all the background noise and stuff. And I'll tell you what, this podcast right now, because it's the middle of spring, I don't know if you can hear, but you can hear, if you deep listen to the DeaconLive podcast, you can hear like motorcycles going by. Now, granted, the studio is somewhat soundproof, but some of these motorcycles... Harley Davidsons are flying by the property. It resonates through here. And of course, I pick up a day to do the podcast. This is why I don't do it on Friday. I do it in the middle of the week. Friday, everyone's outside mowing the lawn. So if you hear lawn mowers going in the background, that's real. That's people down 2 properties over or 3 properties that way, if you hear motorcycles, if you hear machine equipment moving around here on the property, that's the nature of what the Deacon Live podcast is. We are live from a listen, no, nothing yet. We're live from a 20-some-odd acre French in the Queen City studio, located just outside of Charlotte in a beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. Now, I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope everyone's surviving. Are you getting a little stir crazy yet? Now, one thing I want to say about being stir crazy is, you watch your shows, your TV shows. Now, I know we get up in the morning here on the French, and we, watch the news report, and the news report is getting a little weird. It's getting kind of annoying, actually. And the reason why I say that is because you've got now you've got the news anchor sitting at the main desk here on Fox 46 in Charlotte. They've got like 3 news anchors, and they all rotate the desk. So you've got the one guy, he'll sit there and work the desk for a couple days, and then everyone else will be at home. Now, do you know what happens when people work at home? Just to give you an idea, here in radio land and TV land, there is a delay. There is a 1 to 2 second delay depending on the Cat5 data link serial link up hertz server megabits, and that's a lot of words to throw at you, but that's what happens. So, for example, you always see, and we're going to the streets with Trisha Takanawa, and then it's always like Trisha sitting there with her head nodding. Yes, thank you, Jane, and blah, 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 blah. And you wonder why that happens, because they're on a delay. They're live in front of the camera, but the audio that they get is delay. Now take that and divide it by however many people are on this show, and it's like the weatherman's doing it from his house, the backup anchor's doing it from her house, and they have the Zoom screen, and I'm moving my hands around if you're watching this on the video here, and they have the Zoom screen, and everyone's just like, no, you go ahead. No, you go. I get it. Yeah. Oh, and they tell a joke, and the guy at the news desk, he's kind of like, because he can hear everything in real time, but the people in the Zoom the Zoom broadcast is not getting it, and it makes for horrible. I know they're trying to. If you have to do it, we have to do it. They're trying to set an example, but it just it's unbearable to watch. It's unbearable to watch them do their morning broadcast. The funniest one is Chuck Rhodes. Here, he's our local traffic guy. I know. What's his brother's name? Christian Sidewalks? No, Chuck Rhodes is the traffic guy. It's like Larry Sprinkle is the weather guy. I don't make these names up. Look them up. They're in Charlotte. I think they changed their name literally with based on their occupation. But there is Chuck Rhodes from Fox 46, and he's an older guy. He's a lifer. He's been there forever, and he's sitting there, and so he's trying to broadcast his traffic report with this delay, and he's like sitting there, hey, don't go down 445, and he's got headphones on. He's totally out of his element. He's got like a tablet, a TV monitor. Meanwhile, everyone else is polished. They're sitting there like they're telling you how to put on makeup. The other broadcasters, the way their camera angles are all set up, they're square and center. It's a 3/4 shot if you know the business. Mastered in whatever I did in college, and they're all set up and ready to go. He's sitting there with headphones on. He's got like an earpiece and microphone in his face, like he's a boy band singer, has no idea what's going on, and I feel sorry for him. But he's got no traffic report because there's no traffic out there. Everyone's at home. Basically, he's just telling you about, which is great that everyone's taking advantage of this. He's just telling you about all the construction that's going on. Hey, don't forget about 985 is going to be closed down because they're redoing the retention pond ditch over there. And don't forget this pond and the exit over here. They're trimming the hedges over there. So make sure you're not driving that way. If you see any construction vehicles, make sure you always give them the way. And back to you. And they're like, thanks, Chuck. Huh? Yeah. And he's a great guy. He's a staple here in the Charlotte area, and every town's got that news. Usually it's the weather guy and the traffic guy is always a staple as far as television broadcasts. Now, what they're doing now in the television broadcast, I know that just like us, we're trying to stay light, we're trying to stay fluffy, we're trying to stay off of the corona and the pandemic and make everyone freak out that our numbers are going up, our numbers are going down, and China's going up and China's going down, and don't do this and don't do that, and make sure you do this. My wife, and she hears all this stuff from literally like one news source. And I say one news source, it's basically, because she hasn't left her desk, it's the news feed and the emails that she's getting through her corporate office and stuff. So that's her news feed. Myself, hopefully a lot of Americans out there, a lot of people get all their stuff off Facebook, which is kind of, it's okay. You just have to pick and choose what you believe and don't believe and who it's coming from and the source. But, you just have to sit there and believe in what's going on. So a lot of times you try to make it light and fluffy. The broadcast now, no matter what news station you're watching, I know this is across the board, across the United States, is they are trying to find something light and fluffy because they're trying to tell people what to do while they're sitting inside, while you're at home. Hey, we have a captive audience. Let's capture them a little bit more and tell them this is what they need to be doing. And if I see another... And this is what it started probably 2 weeks ago. I started seeing this rolling in because they're like going, okay, this is for real. Everyone's stuck at home. I started seeing, and today we're going to have, you know how they do the what they call the puff piece, and they always have someone at the end of the broadcast, the news broadcast that like cooks something, or they have a dance team in there and like, hey, okay, go, and they do the little dance number or whatever festivals in town. You can't do that anymore because no one's allowed in the friggin' studio. So they are literally, I don't know if they're friends of the people that work for the station or whatever, but they are broadcasting, and it's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts because I pick it apart. Because I know the background. I know the history of what goes on behind the screens, the screens and the TV. I know that what makes... I know everything. Let's put it that way. I know everything behind radio and behind TV, and I'm just going to let you know they're scrambling for news stories. And when you're scrambling for news stories, you'll put anyone up there. And, they were having like preachers from this church and singers from this church doing live feeds and talking to them while they're on the air. I know it's not news, but they're trying to make it light. What's really killing me is when I see these. Now, I'm trying to be as neutral as possible, but it is these middle-aged, privileged, white females that technically probably never worked a day in their life because they are married to whatever husband that's worked every day in his life, or he's got a silver spoon in his mouth and he's just, she's just grabbing at the little niblets on the table. But it's all these middle-aged white women, and I say middle-aged, I'm talking 45 to 55 years old. They're trying to, the kids are out of the house now. This is their second marriage, that type thing. And they're like going, oh, Veronica, what have you done? That's not a good name, but let's say Veronica. Veronica. We have Veronica with Veronica's Luscious Designs. Thank you for having me on the show. All right, Veronica. So tell us what you. Well, everyone is captured in their little things, and we like to bring peace and love, and we want to make sure that everyone's going on, and trying to get experience, and they're saying a whole lot. They're saying everything but nothing at all. Well, tell us about your product that you're sending out in care packages. Now, these care packages, we sat down and we realized that our online sales aren't very good, is what she's saying. And we've taken actual paper and cut them into flowers, and then we staple the flowers together, and then we make a bouquet to put on your front door. And I'm literally like watching this going, doesn't it look like she's just cutting up junk mail and just making flowers out of junk mail? Granted, there's a lot of a lot of colors and shit on junk mail, and you can cut them up and make all, organ. And I cut this one, and this one kind of looks like a swan. And you can contact us at Veronica's Pleasures or whatever the goddamn thing. And then I saw one the other day. I'm getting heated. I saw one the other day. It was some kind of, again, middle-aged. She looked like she's 56 years old. She's had nips and tucks and then whatever all in her face. And she's sitting there going, I know our personal gym is closed. When she says personal gym, she's rented a 3,000 square foot building or office in a strip mall. And, all right, Pam, what are you doing? Well, since our office is closed and our gym is closed, we're bringing you at-home workouts. All right, great. Fascinating. And one, and two, and one. She's in this friggin' leotard like Richard Simmons. Hopefully he comes back from the dead. She's in this one piece leotard. Sorry, my headphones went out there for a second. And she's like, and for $20 a month, we have Skype, we have Zoom, we will give you a one-on-one exercise program. Now, the gym will be back open here shortly once everything goes on, and everyone's like going, I'm not paying $20 a month to watch me do a workout. No, there's all those free videos like from Planet Fitness and stuff. But I'm just sick and tired of watching all the white, overprivileged, stay-at-home moms. They don't have kids. They're not taking care of kids. Their kids are out of the house and stuff, and they're on their third or fourth marriage anyway. So I just noticed that a lot more. And if you haven't noticed a lot more, good for you. It's probably better that you don't. Stick around. When we come back, I'm going to get into, I know. All those people that are struggling to make their payments at home, whether you own a house or rent a house. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back.
And now it's time for Lessons Learned with Jason.
Jesus Christ, Jay.
We interrupt this program to bring you a news bulletin.
I'm a grown-ass man.
Jason Howell.
All right. Are you live?
Huh?
So what do you have? You have the bird flu?
Yeah, I had two pigeons fly in my room in the Bahamas, had the door open.
What?
Yeah, they just flew on in. They were checking out the room. Of course, they tried to get out, and they didn't. They're stupid. Started. I'm not quite sure.
But you don't get bird flu from birds, do you?
I don't know. You get swine, don't you?
No, I think you get the bird flu from just being in those god-awful airplanes that go down to... You were in the Bahamas, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I think that the people that go to the Bahamas and people coming back from the Bahamas aren't that sanitary, so...
407 448 8800.
Welcome back. You're listening to Deacon Live. And we were talking about people doing their shows from their home offices and stuff. And Kelly Clarkson, I watched the Kelly Clarkson show and the Rachel Ray show. Have you seen the Rachel Ray show? I don't know what time it comes on your area, but here in Charlotte... actually, at the Queen City studio located in Marshville, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Make sure you call us at any time at 407-448-8800. You can text us anytime at that same number. And make sure you follow us and do all the social network stuff. And the way you do that is go to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio, and you can sign up and do all the stuff from there as well. Rachel Ray has been doing a lot of her cooking shows from her house. Now, Kelly Clarkson, because she's doing her show from her house, is... disgusting. I say she's disgusting. Hold on. Let me backtrack. Rachel Ray's house is disgusting. All right, if you watch Rachel Ray do her show from her kitchen, she's got this huge kitchen as big as this friggin' studio. Now, granted, I've got mixing boards, I've got 3 or 4 monitors, I've got keyboards all over the place, I've got speakers and sound, but you expect that from a radio studio. And there's my printer over there, and there's my backup generators and the amps and the external speakers and stuff. But Rachel Ray, when she does a cooking show from her kitchen, you would expect a big open kitchen. She's got shit all over the damn place. It's all over I don't want to eat anything from her place at all. Like... She's like, she always says, customers, what do you do when you go home to relax? Well, I like to get a big bottle of wine and drink a lot of wine and sit in my kitchen and cook. Well, you've got no room to do it. So if you ever watch the Rachel Ray show, there you go. One thing they should bring back, now that we're all trapped at home, one show that I love to watch is what's the VH1? Is VH1 still around? No one has cable anymore, so no one knows about VH1. VH2? What's it? VH1 Classics? They had a whole spree. Like ESPN's got like 15 different channels, but VH1 had Behind the Music. And that was cool. I mean, there was a lot of in-depth stuff, and they were talking about a lot of different bands. Now, most of them aren't relative. They're not current for today's topics and stuff, but it's interesting to watch the Behind the Music. I love that. Or Pop-Up Video. Pop-Up Video was awesome. Remember Pop-Up Video, how they made the videos? Hey, Deacon, what's a video? All right, little Jimmy. It's when they used to have music that ran along with a almost like a little commercial at the same time for their video. Oh my God, that sounds so outdated. Yeah, it is. But yeah, Pop-Up Video and behind the scenes. Those would be great time killers, because you know what I hear on Facebook all the time is, I need new Netflix shows to watch. I need new this to watch. Hey, hold on a second. Aren't you the same people that were like going, I'm going to get in shape every day. Every day I'm going to wake up, get a routine. I'm going to walk on the treadmill. I'm going to walk around the block with a mask on my face. I'm going to ride my bicycle. I'm going to go out there and play with the kids. And then now they're sitting at home watching, I need Netflix suggestions. Hey, how about turn the TV off and go outside and walk around? How about do this? Now, granted, I say that in the same respect as you hear a lot of people like the movie stars going, we're all in this together. Yeah, you're in a house that's 10, 15,000 square feet. You can walk around the house and still be in your house. Literally ride a golf cart around in your house and still be in the house. Here on the French, granted, we can get outside. My wife and I actually, I forget when it was. I think it was last Saturday, a week ago from tomorrow. God, that's so hard to say. Last Saturday, we did our stuff, and she does her things, and I do my things, and we're doing stuff out in the yard and stuff. And then the sun started setting. We, feed the horses and feed the cattle and feed the chickens and put everyone away. She's like, let's go for a ride. Now we've got a little side-by-side. And I said, okay, let's go for a ride. Let's do a nice little ride on the side-by-side, the little Polaris side-by-side. And, you're on your own property. So we've got, she's got her cocktail, I've got my beers, and we're just riding around the property. And it's just that dusk to dawn hour, where it's still light out. You turn the headlights on and you just kind of drive around the property and look around and make sure everything's good. Now, we had that horrible storm that hit here last week. So we're just kind of walking around and driving around to see if any trees fell and stuff. But, that's kind of what we're doing now, to get outside and stop sitting in front of the TV. Now, not that we sit in front of the TV. I do, for the most part. That's another story. So everyone's kind of like taking a dump as far as, working. I'm going to work out every day. Well, I understand that, because you're trapped in your house. You're trapped in the place that you're staying at. And a lot of people are kind of nervous. You can't, if you're not financially sound in mind and relax. I know financial burdens is the root of a lot of like arguments between couples and a lot of arguments between family and all that stuff. So a lot of people are out there are worried about how are they going to pay their bills. And we know utility bills are going to take a break on stuff, whether it be power, water, electric, whatever you got. I know a lot of car insurance companies are actually giving you a percentage back or discounting your monthly payment based on, you're not driving anywhere, you're not going anywhere, so why should I pay, full percentage on my car insurance? And there's a lot of other companies that are doing that as well. Some of the companies out there, when it comes down to where you live, your establishment, is if you're a renter or if you're a homeowner. So a lot of times there is a lot of a leeway with your homeowners, whoever owns the title to your house. And let me just say this. The best thing to do if you're a homeowner is to call and talk to your lender. Just say, hey, look, what are my options here? I'd like to pay you. And don't be rude. Don't be rude. These people are trying to help you because they have a certain threshold that they have to achieve as well. What can I do? What can I, help? How can you help me help you? Is essentially what I can say to that. And they say, well, you're current this way, and there's a couple news articles that are out there. Essentially, the people at the banks, your lenders, your car notes and stuff, they want to help you. They really do. They said basically just, if you're not 30, and I'm not telling you guys to be late 30 days because then they have to report it to the credit bureau, is just a communication. Communication is the best way I can describe it as far as if you're worried about making a monthly payment that's due. Now, if you have a monthly payment, I'm not saying this. If you got a monthly payment on a Rent-A-Center thing, you might as well throw that. You might as well put that outside. They'll just come pick it right up because they don't care. Rent-A-Center and all those rental places, they don't care. They don't care. But I mean, as far as like living, I mean, if you're sitting in your house or apartment or wherever you're at with no furniture, no nothing, it's just you got a roof over your head and you're good to go. I mean, I don't want to say break it down to that, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Now, for people who actually rent, if you're in an apartment complex, they've got stuff already set up in line. They have stuff already in effect as far as who's paying what and stuff. I don't know the details about that. Again, talk to the front desk at an apartment complex. But what about those people out there that say, I don't want to live in an apartment. I don't want to live in a, I don't want to be under the thumb of a homeowners, not a homeowners association, a property management company. I say a property management company like a apartment complex, because houses, for the most part, if accredited house, if you're renting a house from a accredited person, they have a property management person. Now, we have property still in Orlando, and we do have renters that are in Orlando. Now, for the most part, from my understanding, is that the people that are renting our houses in Florida are what they consider essential employees. So we've talked to our property manager. The property manager goes, nope, we haven't had any problems. Not that there's ever been any problems. They're great renters. It's great when you have a good renter. So when you have a good renter, you want to make sure that they're well taken care of. So as of now, the rental people in our places are good to go. But there are places that say, essentially, hey, sorry, rent's due, this and that, which sucks. It really does suck. I understand that. You just have to communicate with them. Now, if it's one of those places that are, nope, we don't like you, or we don't care, we pay our bills, you got to pay your bills type deal. I have no information for you as far as that. The only thing I can say is pay what you can. And this is just one human to another human. Contact them, talk to them. Communication is the best thing to get through this. And I wish everyone, I don't know. I just wish everyone well, and I hope everyone does well through this. A lot of people are claiming unemployment, which is good. It's part of the system. That's what it's there for. I hope no one abuses it. And again, I hope on the reverse of that, I hope that property managers and people in those statures don't abuse what their position and what they have to do as far as keeping the books real or keeping them up to date. When we come back, we'll get a little bit light and fluffy here. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back.
And now it's time for Lessons Learned with Jason.
Jesus Christ, Jay.
Howell.
We interrupt this program to bring you a news bulletin.
I'm a grown-ass man.
Jason Howell. Jason Howell.
So, fill us in. The last time you were down there, you spent Thanksgiving down there in the Bahamas.
I did.
In the Bahamas, and did you called ahead and had them have enough Budweiser? You drank them out last time?
Yes, I did. So they only get so many per week. I said, well, I'm here for 12 days. My friend, the thing behind the glass case isn't going to cut it.
So
I called ahead, and they know exactly who I was as soon as I rolled up day one. It's the Budweiser. I said, yep, that's me.
Oh, the guy knew you.
Oh, yeah, everybody knows me, Trav. Everybody knows me.
Big baller.
Go, aren't you the guy? Yep, I am the guy. So turn around, shut up, here's what's going to happen. Yeah, they all know me there. I'm there every single day.
407 448 8800.
Welcome back to Deacon Live. Give us a call anytime at the station at 407-448-8800. You can text us live anytime at that same number. And make sure you go to prophets.com, PROPHET radio, and you can see the live video from every podcast that we do. And we have over 200 and some odd shows and 100 and some odd videos. We didn't record a couple videos back in the early days, but we got a lot of stuff out there. Make sure you... when you click on the videos, like us on YouTube and share us on YouTube. We got a bunch of subscribers out there. We're trying to get to our numbers up to, I think we're up to 2,000 some odd subscribers on YouTube. So make sure you click on that and subscribe to us as well. And share us with all your friends. And some friends are better than others. Because in Florida, now I'm born and raised in Florida. I'm born in Orlando, Florida. Here's my lineage as far as my background. Went to Weingard Elementary School. Went to Walker Middle School or Walker Junior High Middle School, Oak Ridge High School, Valencia, and then UCF. So that's my scholastic lineage background. But so I was all born and raised in Orlando. The funny part was in Florida, if you had an above ground pool, you were kind of trailer trashy type deal. Now, granted, there was only one place to go. I think it was Recreational Factory Warehouse in downtown. And all my listeners out there in the south eastern of the United States knows exactly who I'm talking about. They were the only ones where you could buy like RVs and swimming pools at the same time. But they were above ground swimming pools, and they were crap. My mom had one. Well, I say my mom. My family had one, and they were the sharp metal siding. If you weren't careful, you jumped off the side, you slit your friggin' foot wide open. Here you are in the 70s, bleeding in the pool in the 80s, and you're trying to bandage your kids up and stuff. But now you can buy a above ground pool in Walmart. And I think we bought one when we were living in the Enterprise area over in Volusia County, where you filled up the top ring with air, and it was like this bladder that the water wouldn't go over the top ring of air. It looked like a big mushroom, upside down mushroom, and you filled it up, and it was water. Hello, you're live on the air. Hello?
Yeah, this is Greg. How are you?
Greg, what's going on?
Well, I called to inform you that you can switch to solar energy and own the equipment with zero out-of-pocket cost to you.
What is that?
This
Greg,
program
Greg, are you there, Greg?
Yes.
Do you know who you're calling?
No.
What are you selling me, Greg? I guess not. So that's someone that wants to sell me something out of pocket. Anyway, so those are some of the phone calls we get here. So you can buy these swimming pools and stuff at Walmart, and they're nice. Some of them are real nice. And in Florida, granted, Florida, you can't have a basement. For some reason, you can have a underground or a built-in swimming pool, but they always say don't drain the pool because the pool will pop out of the friggin' ground. It's debatable depending on the water table and where you're at. So, but a lot of people right now are buying, on their back porch patio because everyone's isolated at home. Oh, I wish I had a pool. I would lay in it all day because I'm tired of watching Netflix. I'm tired of watching Rachel Ray's Nasty Kitchen. I'm tired of not trying to work out and watching these women on TV telling me to go pay $20 a month to watch their yoga video. I'm not doing that. I would just want to, I'm from Florida. I want to lay in the pool. I'm from a hot area, the southeastern region. Even our friends over on the West Coast, over in San Francisco, in California, and Los Angeles, we got a bunch of listeners over there. I don't know what the laws are as far as you having a above ground pool, but you can find a small 12 foot, even a 10 foot wide above ground pool that's only like 4 foot deep. And they're nice, they're reasonable. And people are making actual patios. You got time for it, lay down some paver stones, throw some tiki torches out there, have a little tiki bar, make, a couple pallets on some cinder blocks and have a little bar there. You can't have people over because everyone's quarantined in the house, but at least you and your wife and everyone can get along together. And it's one of those, you're in the pool, and it's weird when you're in a pool, above ground pool, and you've got a fenced in yard. And I say fenced in yard, like a stockade fence in yard. And you're like, you can almost see like in the neighbor's yard if you're on a float. And you're just kind of like, well, I was going to lay out here nude, but the kids next door, if they were jumping on a trampoline, could probably see me naked. So, but a lot of people are doing that. And it's acceptable now. And I've seen some great pictures and some stuff that people have sent me through the Facebook app. And you can too. Just follow us on the social networks by going to profitradio.com and clicking on all our social networks. So I think it's great. I think it's a change in the way we look at things and what people have in their yards. Above ground swimming pool, I'm ready to put one here. I'm really ready to put one here on the French, because some days are, we're still in the 60s, and 68 I think it was today, and tomorrow's going to be like 72. We're still in the cool temperatures, but for the most part, I'd like to have one here and then tear it down as soon as winter hits. So being trapped at home, I feel for, there are all these memes and stuff that are out there with women with long hair. They haven't gone to their hairdressers, they haven't gone to getting their nails done. They haven't done all that stuff. The prim and proper stuff that your wife, your significant other, your girlfriend, whatever the case may be, goes through to make themselves look presentable. Whether it's for you or for her job or anything like that. I was telling you a couple podcasts ago that my wife, her roots are starting to show. And when I say roots, her grades, women, you know what I'm talking about. The roots are starting to show. And so she was buying I think Revlon's got a root cover-upper, and she gets the dark one, even though she's got like the blonde highlights and stuff. She sprays the little dark root thing on her. She's taking like a can of Krylon, and she's spraying her roots to keep them from sticking up. I'm like, babe, why are you even doing that? Why? Because you're working from home. You don't do video feeds. You don't do the Zoom video feeds at your work. So why you even bother with it? She's like, posterity and all that stuff. I'm like, but you haven't left the house in like 3 weeks. Good for me, good for you. She's a little Italian. Good for me, good for you, a fungal. But guys are a different story, because guys, I don't know about you. I had a professional hairdresser, stylist, whatever you want to call it, when I was doing radio in Orlando. And religiously, every 5 weeks, actually, every 3.5 to 4 weeks, I would go to my hairstylist, and she, same cut, yep, same cut, do this, and I was always tight and right. And then, of course, you get a little lax, and you go 6 weeks without a haircut, and you go 7 weeks without a haircut. Now, granted, I know most of you guys out there have gone, you went into this pandemic, this house arrest thing, this stay-at-home thing, before even getting your hair cut. You've already been 3 weeks without a haircut, and you're like going, this'll shake off in 2 weeks, and then I can get Tony down at the parlor to do my hair. Well, Tony down at the parlor had to shut down because that's not an essential anymore. So now you're sitting at home, and you're getting the corona, the COVID style, the COVID hair. And so a lot of these guys, if you have a significant other, whether it be wife, husband, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, is asking, can I cut your hair? And they need something to do. They need something to do. So it's not just for you. I'm tired of looking at your long hair. No, they need something to do. Let me cut your hair. Let me cut. It'll be all grown out. It'll be all grown out by the time, you're able to go out in public again. Oh, no, I'm fine. No. My wife has even said to me, well, I've offered many times to cut your hair. I'm like, babe, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing sales calls. I'm not meeting people anymore. Granted, I'm doing the video here. And if you're watching me on the video, for Deacon Live, I've got my my makeshift mask on around my neck, and my Bass Pro Shop hat on, and of course my JBL headphones. And my hair is long. It's getting long. Even my beard. I haven't shaved my beard in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and let's go 6 weeks. And no one's counting, right? We're all friends here. You're not going to tell anyone. But I mean, I'm getting grizzlier and grizzlier, and guys are getting grizzlier and grizzlier. And it's funny seeing pictures of, okay, I'm letting my wife or my other cut my hair. Let's see how it goes. And a lot of these guys are just coming out with bald heads, like they're going to the military. But no one's going to see you. No, and they need something to do too. So, all right. When we stick around, stick around. When we come back, we'll get into some more stuff and we'll wrap up the show. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back.
And now it's time for Lessons Learned with Jason.
Jesus Christ, Jay.
Howell.
We interrupt this program to bring you a news bulletin.
I'm a grown-ass man.
Jason Howell. Jason Howell.
How about a used car?
Used car, like from Jethro's used car lot? What are you buying from?
We're going to go CarMax legit because my credit is the shit. I'm going to put it that way.
So you bought a car from CarMax?
Any car you want on the lot, Mr. Howell, it's yours. Because I ran my credit first.
Right.
Anything you want on the lot. Anything.
Right.
Take your pick.
And hold on, what did Mr. Howell pick out?
Well, let me walk to the back of the car to refresh my memory.
Call 407-448-8800.
Hold on.
8800.
Amy's breaking into the beer.
Welcome back to Deacon Live. Holy Jesus, I just looked at a video. I was watching the video of one of the cameras here, and I'm like going, holy Jesus, I look like a wanted man. I look like I'm on the run. I'm like, my beard, this is as long as my beard has ever been. And it's weird because it's part gray and part dark in places, but it's like all the right places. Like, I look like I have a dark goatee, but I don't know. You have to look at it. And you can look at that if you go to prophetradio.com and click on the Deacon Live section. And for every podcast that we have here, we also have a video link that goes with the podcast as well. All right. Oh, so this week in pickles. Are you ready for this, guys? I know a lot of people are going, what else can they do with pickles? Pickles are now coming with pickled. It's pickled. Hold on, let me find the thing here. It's pickled Bloody Mary Jello shots. That's what happens when you get out of control.
Wild one. This is the Bloody Mary Pickle Jello Shot. What does that mean? Watch and you will see. Start off with some tomato juice, and now we're going to follow that, okay? We heat it up, and then we come behind it with gelatin, guys, all right? We stir our gelatin in, and gelatin is what makes Jello.
Duh.
So you squeeze in some lime juice, some Worcestershire sauce. We're putting in the Bloody Mary ingredients now. Some Tabasco, black pepper, stir. That's right, because this wouldn't be on this channel if there was no booze in there, so we hit it with a touch of Vladimir Putin. Stir. Okay, now we...
What did he say, Vladimir Poo-Poo? I think he did.
Grab our pickles, and watch what we do to these pickles.
Now, they're using Vlasic zesty dill, so there you go.
Okay, these are zesty dill holes. We go in and we scoop out the middle. You get what we're doing here? So this is
they're
really
using like a melon baller here.
I couldn't do this, okay? I don't like Bloody Marys. I don't like pickles, so I'm nowhere near this. But this for you guys that love this. And so now we cut off the bottom so it could stand. And now we take our Bloody Mary Jello mix and we...
So they've hollowed it out. They cut the tips and ends off. And they've hollowed it out down to one side and left like the other side like still with pickle membrane in there. And they fill them up like little cups.
Pour it in, and then we put that in the refrigerator to harden, slice it up, and we're good to go. So now you're eating your Bloody Mary and your favorite vegetable pickles. Stay tipsy. God help you.
No. Now, I'm a big pickle fan. Believe me, I'm a big pickle fan. but I'm not. I don't like Bloody Marys. I've tried. I thought that they look so good when they have all the like the shrimp and the pizza and the chicken leg and all the stuff in the Bloody Mary. You can eat all that, and I'm looking for like a really the vodka. I think it's the vodka. I don't know. It's something's not right. It doesn't sit with me right. So I was telling you something that wasn't sitting with me right is, my wife hasn't left the house in 3 weeks. Not that it was her choice, but it was kind of her choice just because of what she was doing work-wise and stuff. And I suffered for the family. I suffered for, I took it upon myself. So today we went out and I told you we bought the mower and stuff. One of the things that we stopped at our local food line. Just to pick up like cheese and milk and what they call, quote unquote, the essentials, and a couple cases of beer. And so my wife, she put her mask on and put her gloves on. And one thing when we walked into the store had these signs up that said, start your shopping this way. And it had all these arrows and stuff around the store. And I'm like going, hey, babe, look, make sure we haven't encountered this. Let's make sure we're not breaking the rules. So we walked up and down the store. Sure enough, nope. No one's following it. No one's following those rules. Going up and down we must have passed the same person 3 times. They were going the opposite direction. And I'm like going, well, why do we even have this? Why are we even following the rules? Why even follow the rules? They put signs on the highway. It says wrong way, no left turn, all that stuff. We can follow those. You know why? Because if you don't follow those rules on the highway, they'll kill you. Now, here is a simple thing as far as Food Lion putting these signs up, and I'll post this on the Facebook page as well. Literally, the sign says wrong way. You're going the wrong way down this aisle. But people are walking around up and down with their kids and stuff. They don't care. You know why we're following these signs? So we don't get killed. We don't end up dying. That's the thing. They're trying to anyway. So I just saw that. It was just pissing me off, and I need to relax sometimes. It's the little things. It's the little things that drive us crazy. So what have we learned so far with this whole coronavirus thing? What is the things that we can take away and understand that that's true and not true. And I say this all in good fun. We seen all the stuff about the stimulus check and who's getting what and how come you haven't gotten yours and why I haven't gotten mine. And we're so worried about this stuff. I understand that. Believe me, I understand that. We're all going to be okay. But some of the things that we've learned in the past few weeks that we have never learned before, if it wasn't for this whole stupid thing that the coronavirus that has kept us in our houses, and we're realizing who we are as humans and what makes us humans and mankind. Are you seeing all the shells on the beaches that are not being picked up? There's no one picking up shells anymore on beaches. That's one of the things that the beaches are now being covered with all these shells. Have you seen the world's largest? I say the world's largest, and I'm making a lot of this stuff up, by the way. Or am I? So right now, the sea turtles are coming ashore, in the ocean, and they're laying more eggs than ever before on our beaches because there's no human contact there. So these are just little things that the world itself, the planet itself, even before we got here, it has been doing for millions and millions and millions of years. And I made the mistake of clicking on a thing on Netflix that's, it says the universe, and it's one of those Nova documentaries and stuff. And I was watching it, and my wife's like, well, what are you watching? What documentary are you watching? And I said, well, just about the sun and the planets and stuff. And I started watching that, and I'm like going, God, I feel so insignificant. Right now. So this is a list, top 15 list. Good friend of ours on the Facebook page put this up. It says, lessons we have learned in the past few weeks. You ready for this? Number 1, China has won the Third World War without firing any missiles. I know that's kind of World War. That's very broad. Europeans are not as educated as they appear to be. Rich people are in fact less immune than the poor. No priest, sheikh, sayyid, astrological could save any patient. So don't pray for your God or whatever. They couldn't save anyone who actually perished from this thing. Health professionals are worth more than football legends. Animals are most likely to feel the same way in a zoo as we do in quarantine, blah, blah, blah. The planet regenerates quickly without any human contact or interference. Isn't that amazing? You know, a prime example that we have come across is that the BP oil spill. You know, everyone was freaking out. It was dumping oil, and then all of a sudden, it went away. You know what happened? The bacteria in the ocean actually dissolved the oil that was being released after we, scraped up a little bit, but, we only scraped up 3% of what was being released in the ocean. But the earth healed itself. A majority of people, here's another one, majority of people can comfortably work from home. So all you, can I work from home? No, yep, most of you can. Everyone can survive without junk food. Living a hygienic life is not that difficult at all. Here's another one. Men can cook also, and the media is full of nonsense. Actors are just entertainers, not heroes. Life is so fragile. Please handle with care. And on that note right there, I'm gonna wrap up the show with a little thing that I want to tell you that a good friend of mine, the best man at my wedding, he's been part of this show for in the background for many years. We worked hand in hand, off the mic, behind the mic, and in the world itself. Mr. Jason Howell from Lessons Learned passed away 2 days ago. Complications from numerous things. It was not the coronavirus. So I don't want any stories out there talking or getting that misconstrued. But yes, Mr. Jason Howell from Lessons Learned has passed away. He was my he was my best friend. He was my only best friend. And I told my wife, I go, well, that's it. I don't have any friends anymore. He was it. So I just wanted you guys to know. I'm going to do... I'm going to do a special broadcast here in the next day or two with all the stuff as a memorial to him. Thank you, guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring you down at the last second. So... on behalf of all you guys out there that have sent me emails and all your stories and stuff, you can continue doing that by going to deacon@profitradio.com and send me all your stories, all your links, all the photos that you have, if you want to share anything with me. And I appreciate each and every one of you for listening to us, taking the time to download us, and make sure you subscribe to us. Write a nice review or bad review, doesn't matter, just as long as you write something in there letting us know that you are listening. My name is Deacon, saying goodnight.
Wait, come back.
This is the end, the absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
Whatever, you're not even fucking listening to me.